Hey there. Hey there, and welcome to Scrap with Penny, to my very first live stream. It has been a little while, to say the least, to get all of this troubleshooting done and conquered, but I'm excited and I hope that we're going to have some fun together. So just real quick before we dive in, let's make sure that everything's working. If you can hear me okay and see the desk, give me a quick yes or a thumbs up in the chat, and that way I'll know if everything's looking good. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure that everything is streaming correctly and getting ready for this is in my mind, it's a little bit like having your second baby, because you know what's coming and you know the only way around it is through it. So I think that we're set now. I think that we're good, and I'm gonna march ahead. Okay, so now that I know we're connected, I'm gonna say again, welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story, and I'm excited that you're here for my very first live scrap. And full disclosure, I did buy a 1 month membership to this camera that I'm using. I mean, a one year membership. And so if it goes well, we might do this again. Hopefully this will be a little bit like riding a bicycle, and the next time I go to do this, I won't have forgotten everything. So today we're going to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers, and I just want to say real quick a very big and heartfelt thanks to each one of you who watches, comments, and scraps along with me. You've made YouTube a fun space and a joyful little corner of my crafty world. And if you can, in the chat, go ahead and drop a note and let me know where you're watching from or what you're working on today. I would love to see that. Plus, it'll let me know that the chat's working. Okay, so what I'm going to start on today is a Paige Evans Tricks and Treats layout, and I had teased this on my social media accounts, and I've got my pictures printed. This is from our Halloween on the High Seas trip from 2024, and I will tell you, on October 25th, I have another layout that's going to post using this collection, and I wanted to give you a sneak right now, a little sneak peek. Oh, the lighting is bad. Here we go. So it's super cute. I had a ton of fun with it, and I thought I would reprise the collection for today. So you'll see maybe some sheets that are cut in two, but you can know that there's another video coming on this later this month. And along those lines, I do have all of October loaded. I've got videos loaded through November 6th. I've been working like a busy little beaver, so that when we head out of town, the content will keep posting. Okay, so let me get these to the side, and then we're going to flip through this collection just like normal. And this is what was at the bottom of that last layout. It's an adorable little print. And then here's this sheet. The other side of this is a grid. Here's this side. Cute little ghost. A nice stripe. This plaid, I love it. Love it. And this is so adorable. Kind of honestly looks a little bit like Doodlebug, but I love it. And here's a cobweb. The other side is this floral. We've got some tags. Oh, one of them's missing. Here's this print. Floral. It wouldn't be Paige Evans without floral, but look at these adorable pumpkins on the back. And for some crazy reason, I picked up this acetate. We'll see if You know, like this would be really good as a page for a mini album, but I'm not doing that. Okay, and so now we're to the papers that I have selected to use today. Let me pause and say I'm using a Halloween sketch from Scrapbook Generation, and it's from the 2015 October mini bundle Halloween, and it's the 2-page set, and I'm using sketch number 4. And I've already updated this video description to have the link to that bundle. And 5 2-page sketches for like $2.30 I think is a pretty good deal. So my left page today is going to be 2 full-size photos with a bunch of vertical strips, and then my right page is going to be a grid with all these little 3x3s. So I pulled this paper. Here's the other side of that. I pulled this, and I'm going to have to Frankenstein this because I use some of this as a stripe in my other layout, but I can make it work because we'll go behind the photos. And then look how cute this is. This is going to be my largest strip. I'm going to cut a 4-inch strip on this. Then I've got this stripe, and then I've got these pumpkins. Oh, let me show you the other side. We've already seen that. And then we're going to pull in the cobweb, I think. And this I pull because I might use it. Okay? And so here's my collection. And I store these in record sleeves, especially when they're new, so I can just grab it all and keep it together. So there's a lot of ephemera. There's some cute enamel dots. This is an embroidery kit, and it's got a really cute little Halloween title, and it's got these pumpkins. I'm not sure that I'll use this, but I've got it here. Then we've got some puppy word stickers, puppy alpha stickers, and somehow 2 sets of the cardstock stickers made it to my house. I'm not sad. And then we've got these foam stickers. Okay? And these are scraps from the first project. Then I've got some ephemera here, and I've got the washi. Now I will say, I'll say this to cover for October 25th. In that layout, I think that I'm using the washi from this collection, but I pulled some washi from somewhere else, who knows where. So I came across this as I was getting ready for today, and I was like, I knew that washi looked funny. So I've got it here. I'm not sure if I'll use it, and I'm going to set it right over here, and I think that'll mostly be out of frame. I don't want to be a distraction. And then I've got my 2 base pages because we're going to do a double. And so let's get started. We're going to cut. I wasn't sure, honestly, how much to do on camera and how much not to do. But we're going to, this is a live scrap, a real scrap, and we're going to do what we would normally do. Okay, so we're going to do that one, and that one's 4. If I can get my papers cut, then I won't worry about messing up. Do you dress up for Halloween? Did you grab this Paige Evans collection? It was one of the last ones under American Crafts, and I know it was delayed a little bit. This is going to be a standard 1/4 inch cut. Scrapbook Generation loves those 1/4 inch stripes on their sketches. Those look like they match. Then on my orange strip, this was our second Halloween on the High Seas cruise, and we knew a little bit more what to expect, and my girlfriends were a little more in on it. Let's see. I should have done better on my notes. Oh, that I'm looking at this too, and it's telling me to cut it 2 inches. I did do better. I'm going to need to mat these photos on the left, and I'm not sure if I want to use white cardstock or this cute aqua. So that's kind of why this is here. And on the cobweb. Oh, I need to cut the black X next. Sorry for my arms. It's the part about doing videos that I hate the most is my arms. Okay, and on this X, I need it at 0.75. And then I'm going to try and make it look identical, so let me shave off a little. If I'm mumbling, I'm sorry. And I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Oh man, let me see. Could someone drop something in the chat so I can make sure I'm seeing it? Please. Okay, I've got someone that's telling me the chat is out there, but I can't see it. So let me just pause for a minute and see if I can figure this out. Okay, I see it now. Okay, there's Jessica, there's Marianne, Lisa, Sherry, KK, Diana. Yay! I've got Ohio, San Antonio, Texas, Reno, Nevada. Okay, good. I just don't know why it's not. Okay, it's all right. Maybe if I hit refresh. I think that's just how I respond. Okay, all right. We got it figured out. The little screen I see on my MacBook is where I can type. But I don't need to type because I'm just going to talk to you. And then on my iMac is where I see the chat. So anyway, okay. I have learned so many new things since May the 6th, since I had this crazy idea. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to have this on my page, and this, and then I've got 2 stripes, and then I need a little 1/2 inch, and the 1/2 inch is where I was thinking I could use these cobwebs. And that is, I've got that as paper number 3. I cut papers and then I threw them in the discard pile. I was like, where are those papers? Okay. So that's, and then I've got to get 0.75 on this. We are having unseasonably warm weather here in Texas, and I like looking at these pictures of Halloween because it makes me think maybe some cooler weather is coming. Okay, this pumpkin is kind of a reserve, so I think for now we're done with most of our paper cutting. And here's my cardstock, and we can get started. Let's lay it out, make sure I'm going to lay it out on this side, and then I can just tape it on the other side. So this is kind of where we're headed. And these are the ones I'm going to have to cut in half. So this is kind of what we're looking at. And on this stripe, I'm going to glue it on top of this black and white X. Just like that. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to start here and build this way. And the sketch actually calls for a little tiny margin at the gutter. And I'm like, why would you make your life hard? So we're not going to do that. Okay, I haven't seen the chat refresh in a while. Oh, maybe, gosh, live chat. Okay, so I think that we're still good. I guess I'll say to some of my girlfriends that can reach me outside of the chat, if something goes awry, send me an SOS and I'll see what I can do. So to do this live stream, I had to get a new camera app for my phone, and I had to get a new desktop app. And so the camera app for the phone is called OBS Camera, and I don't know what OBS stands for. I can't be bothered to figure that out. And then you have to connect it to YouTube on the back side, which was kind of dicey. And then I did 2 tests, but on the microphone I was struggling with the sound because I wanted it to sound good and not tinny. And so if it's sounding rough, I'm sorry. I do like things to be done well, she says as she's taping this paper together. It's interesting that it's longer. It's a longer piece of paper. The other thing, besides the technical side, is I've never really timed myself on anything, and I didn't know how far I would get. And so I think we'll go for about an hour, hour and a half, maybe just 75 minutes. I don't know. I don't know how long we'll go. If I'm moving very slow, then I don't know. But one reason why I did a double was so I could make sure I had enough to do. So this is 11, so I'm going to cut it at 5.5, so it'll split the difference. That's funny, Marianne. So I when you set the camera to do the stream, it does start out the wrong way. And so then I had, like I'm Googling so much stuff. I wish I had, it doesn't really matter. These go together. And so So I had to right click and transform and rotate. And thank goodness for ChatGPT, that's all I'll say. So I'll trim this off at the end. I've said before, I don't think American Crafts papers are always consistent in their sizing. Marianne, are you going to do channel content again? I'd like to know. KK, on the average time to complete a layout, it really varies, and I'm never as fast as I think I am. But I couldn't even hypothesize a number. We'll see how far I get in 75 minutes, because I'm not being quite the perfectionist. I can't pause this and conjure up any tricks off camera. So now we'll just repeat the pattern. Is that right? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 pieces of paper. And how does this one go? Like this? Yep. But I will say, in all the things I've learned since May, I have, except for a little bit of anxiety here and there, like specifically this week, I have had a lot of fun. So I hope that y'all have had fun too. And see this one. Just gonna have to give it a little haircut at the top and bottom, because the pink is showing a little short. It's okay, it's okay. There's Maria. She's a slow scrapper. Slow Scrappers of America unite. Yeah, this is right, because I'll get the fuller size on the outside. All right. So all week long I've been, doing this and that, and I went upstairs last night and I told Stephen, I said, I think I need to kind of try and explain, what I've been doing. And bless his heart, I think maybe he comprehended it a little. Who knows? It's okay. All right. Oh no, yeah, this goes up against the orange. Maria, this is the Paige Evans Tricks and Treats, and this released last year. I did a pre-order on a cherry on top, and man, it trickled in. I didn't think this order was ever going to get here. Oh, it's looking good. I think it's not that I'm necessarily a slow scrapper, but I'm a slow thinker. Like, I really like to look at a lot of options and ponder. I guess the bottom line is I overthink everything. Now, for some reason, mine looks a lot wider than hers. But you know what? I think it's because maybe she stacked some papers, but we're going to roll with it. So for sure I am going to have to mat to cover up the gutting of that paper. But I think what I can do is take a little bit off the top and a little bit off the bottom. help some of that pretty paper stay visible. Oh, I cut my husband's foot off. And Maria, you'll have to watch the replay because I did a little preview of the whole collection, and also I showed a little sneak of a layout that's going to post on October 25th. That video is already uploaded. Thank you, Mary Ann, for saying I'm not slow. I'm deliberate. Okay, so this, what do y'all think? Oh, that would be so cute. Okay, so I think we'll go this route on the mat, but we're going to table this and we're going to work on our grid for the right side of the page. And I forgot to show this. These are from Kellybell from A Disney Halloween, and these are geared toward the Halloween party at Magic Kingdom, but it also can transition to Halloween on the high seas. So I'll have to pop these off, and I kind of envisioned this chunky guy going over here as per the sketch. And let's see, I think I had decided maybe this one and this one, and I was going to let the Boo to You be my title. And so there we go. I wanted to show this. Now I want to get my Misty out, and we're going to do a photo mat. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We gotta trim our pictures first. Now the sketch calls for journaling in a block at the top, but you know, I didn't want to do that. So I did journal strips, and here they are printed out. And these use the Coley Bing Google Doc, and they pair with the Hero Art Sentiment strip die. And I always link the tutorial for the strips on her channel in the video description, and I list out the name of the die. And in pure Disney magic, haha, I printed it twice, and I went ahead and cut it because I wanted to be able to move on to the journal strips. So this is the die itself, and they're just fantastic. They're just perfect, crisp, pristine. Pretty excited. Let's see, I've got some chats. I do think the pumpkins are cute, and some people might say I'm obsessed with perfectionism. I don't know, but I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Here's the lowdown on that. It goes back to the fact that my creativity was rooted in journalism, and we did have to be precise and exact. And you know, we worked on, it was when we did it manually, like we were working on grid carbon paper, and we would print the photos out, and you would have to mark which was a photo with a big X on it, and then the little grid papers themselves were actually a pocket, and you would get a grease pencil and you would number the photos on the back with the number, and then on the front there would be a corresponding number in the photo box. So if it was a photo, then it was like there was a big X over the box, and then there was a number underneath that. And so it required a lot of precision and attention to detail, because you didn't want to be the one when the layout when the yearbook came out and your layout was off and you had a caption that didn't match someone's photo, and you run into them in the cafeteria and they're like, you know, so I think a little bit of my, I think, I like to think of it as thoroughness. I think a little bit of that is stemmed in that. Okay? I did think y'all might enjoy seeing the whole way that I crop these anyway. I'm just checking to make sure I get all the white off the bottom. There's a little bit still on this one. I haven't fully adapted to this trimmer yet. The first cut is the hardest because you're just kind of shooting blind. Then on the others, you kind of have an idea where you're going. Okay, let's see. On my journaling, Jess, I actually, you're not going to believe it, I used some of that hammer mill. I like it because it's not too thick of a weight. It's cut easily with the die, just like as if you were cutting a die for a card. And it's a nice enough weight that it holds up. And it's a bright white, a pristine white. So on my photo trimming, I do 2 sides freehanded, and then when I do the last 2, I'm going to move my mint tape, and then we're going to get exact squares. So I've got the one layout finished for this already. And then I did a layout Saturday for stash busting that was this same cruise, but it was Pirate Night. And I was like, why isn't this working? But I printed them at 2.87 so that I could get a little photo mat at 3x3. Whew, I was like, oh my gosh, these are all going to be the wrong size. So I did Pirate Night. There's one more set of pictures for Halloween on this cruise that I want to do. And it's, so these pictures were in the daytime. And then for dinner, we did all dress up. And I want to do a layout with us in our little Halloween-esque, Halloween-light costumes. We didn't go all out. And that is okay. I did a layout in 2024 from Halloween where Steve and I were in our Carl and Ellie outfit on the ship. And, you know, honestly, packing for a cruise and getting it all on board, it's, you know, it can be a lot. So when you can swap an outfit for a t-shirt, for sure Steve is like, yes, let's go that route. But I'm feeling like when we do Halloween again, it's going to be time for us to get a wardrobe update and be maybe somebody else. I said before, I would love to be Bert and Mary. Although, you know, it's not for sure that they were a couple or, you know, a love affair or, oh, shoot. But I just have this thing for Mary Poppins. Who's your favorite Disney character? And if you would ever dress up for Halloween, who have you dressed up as, or who would you like to dress up as? You know, you see a lot of Jack and Sally at Disney. All right, now I think we're ready for our But I want to think about this a little bit. Let's focus on it. Surprised me when I went back looking at this because I didn't remember working this hard for all of the characters, but we got them all. We must have been bored that day. Let's see. So this one is kind of a deviant. Let's put it in the middle. And Donald Duck is my least favorite character, and so I was really surprised to see that we did get that. And I thought these were the cutest. Chip and Dale are a little candy apple and a little bag of candy. I want to put, let's see, well, he's their dog. I want to put their dog in between Mickey and Minnie. And then we'll put these multiple, well this big picture's over here. Okay. So I've got Donald and Daisy on the same row. I've got guys, girls, and then I've got bigger photos down here. So if I do kind of a thin border, I'm kind of thinking this kind of border. I'm trying to decide on this piece of paper if I stay with a white background or if I do a pattern paper background. And so if I do a pattern paper background, then I want to do a white matte. But if I do, if I don't, then I want to do a printed matte. I'll tell you what, we're going to start with a white matte, and I can matte it again if I end up staying. I probably should have thought harder on what I wanted to do on the right page. Hi, Penny. You're in. You're in with another Penny. Welcome. I'm glad you found my channel. Okay. So let me get out my Misty. And I'm kind of taking this thing off. And I did have an extra piece of white cardstock candy. So at least I had that part prepared. And we're going to go like this. And we're just going to start at the top right and work our way over. The key to this working is making sure your base stays still. I think that the first time we did the Halloween sailing, it's so far up there. Yeah. It was a 5-day, and then on this sailing, my girlfriends had gone on the 5-day, and so they were willing to book the 7-day. So we had a little more time on this, and this itinerary was to the British Virgin Islands, and that's one of my favorite ports. We did Tortola and then St. John's. Or was it St. Thomas? I think it was St. John's. I don't know. People say, when we tell them we're going on a cruise, they say, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to the ship. I mean, I just get on the ship and I let it take me around. Oh, Tracy, I have a link in all my video descriptions to these acrylic corners. There is an Etsy shop out there that sells them. I got my set on Etsy, but that shop is no longer selling them, but there is another one out there that I found. And I've had subscribers that pick them up and they tell me they're liking them. So almost done. I hope this isn't like watching paint dry. Oh, I do have a little giveaway. And so if you're watching and you haven't dropped a note in the chat yet, go ahead and say hi or something, because I'm going to draw a random winner from the chat for a $10 gift card to the online scrapbook store of your choice. And so I've shared before that I just use a pencil for my final mark. Oh, it's so high up there, y'all. It's having a hard time seeing. Okay. All right. I would always rather take a little more off than have cut off too much. Come on, a little bit more. And what's going on there? Oh, that's the pencil mark. So I gotta get a little bit more off this side. There we go. Well, it's not. It's like it's stuck. It is stuck. Okay, that will do. Hi Jackie, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found me. I started making videos back in May, but I've been scrapbooking for 31 years. Okay, so now we need to get serious about some decisions. So this is how the sketch shows it coming over. Well, no, it shows it like that. But I did think I could come over and maybe do a block of paper and I am going to use this paper for this. So let me find the piece of paper that I cut into. See if it's big enough. And it's not. That's okay. Maybe I should go with a white mat, because I was kind of thinking about good grief. I was kind of thinking about this. Like if I did something like this. You know what? Okay. If I gut this, I can mat it, and then I would get a little bit of repetition between this and this, and I like that idea. So back to this guy. Thank you, Penny. And one of my favorite, this is 5/16, which is slightly less than 3/8. And it's the one I have out, so it's the one we're going to use. Okay. What I need to do is measure this up for a cut, and then I want to gut it, and then I'll come back and mount it. And then with that piece from the gut, I can get enough paper to mat both of my photos. And that'll make me happy. Okay. This might be a good exercise workout, because my heart rate is up. Tracy, what I've shared on some of my videos is if you don't have the 12-inch MISTI, you can use low-tack tape to tape it to your surface, or you can use a 12-inch scoreboard. And I had a subscriber, Robin, submit that idea, and I think that is a viable option. It's just so hard. I'm going to have to burn this strip down here. Well, let me cut the strip off first. I have the 12-inch MISTI because I bought it when it's the only one she had, except for the teeny tiny one. And I bought it because Nicole McGork was getting everyone to stamp on their layouts on 2Ps. So it sat dormant for a long time, and I just wouldn't purge it because it was, you know, an investment. But it has come in handy so much. Okay, I'm not going to trim any more. It's looking like I need to trim right here, but I'm going to wait and get this matted up. So now I'm going to gut this. And that's the one thing I didn't get out. So my apologies for that. Okay. Okay, so 5/16. So I like to double it. So if I cut at 1 1/4, that should be plenty of room, right? Thanks again to all of you that hopped on here with me. I was worried I was going to be here by myself. Kind of like, you know, 7th grade lunchroom fears. Ta-da! Okay. All right. Oh, that's for something else. Now we'll go back to this because we can. I think the trick is just making sure you get your base down really well. Oh, let me get my corner up there. Do y'all scrap Halloween a lot? I realize that if you're an empty nester, you may not have that many current pictures, but I will say this is showing short. So let's try it this way. Okay. That looks good. This is the one it was telling me I needed to trim some more on. And I don't. This cut isn't straight. Okay. But I will say, as an adult, we have enjoyed Disney Halloween. It has felt playful. I think this is off a little, but I think I'm going to have to roll with it. Sherry, have you used the 12-inch Misty really for anything? I didn't until I started using it for this. Now I've got myself really an impossible situation here now that my paper's popping up. Kind of backed myself into a corner. Okay, that looks a little better. All right. Okay. Let's get these pictures. We're going to do a smaller margin on them. I think we'll do 5/16. I need to angle this to where it's a little closer to me. Okay. Hey Babs, Barbara, welcome. I'm glad you could hop on. Thank you, Penny, for telling me. It looks good. I think it's one of those situations where when it's under a page protector, it'll probably be okay. I've never done that where I cut a mat and then went back to it. So probably not the best time to do it on live, but you know what? I'm real. I'm not perfect. For the most part, you get good results with them. And I think, you know, if ever you don't, it's user error. Okay. Now, one down, one to go, and then we can put away the big guy. I put a link, Barbara, in the video description to the Etsy shop that I found that sells a very similar set. And I will say, they come with this craft backer paper that you can peel off. It's on there, you know, to protect the acrylic while it's in transit. But I like it on there because I think you can see them a little better. Okay. At least for me, I can for sure. Oh, it's already been an hour, y'all. See, I am slow. So if you joined late, I mentioned earlier that I'm doing a little giveaway, $10 gift card as a thank you for helping me grow my channel to 1,000. $10 gift card to the store of your choice. And I'll do the drawing after the live and then I'll post it in a community post. Those look good. Okay. So let's come over here. I got something sticky on them. And they're just going to be centered up. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, and I'm going to put some space between them. And see, I want them like lining up to this X. Kind of a nice natural line for them. And I'm going to mark off the X. I'm not going to worry about a certain amount of an interior margin. Just want them centered or aligned on the top and bottom evenly. Needs to come over a little bit more, I think. Okay. Now, we've got a big woolly mess. Let's get rid of these scraps. And she's got it on the sketch like this. Let me slide over so I make sure I'm still in frame. I don't know. I think it has to be centered, to be honest. So let's see what we have in the way of our embellishments. Got this pumpkin. Here's kind of my title. Maybe that goes more up like that. That's pretty cute. And then I had another pumpkin. Oh, it's right here. Like that. Thanks, Maria. You have fun. And for sure take pictures because that'll be great to scrap. Okay. I had thought I need to get some kind of cluster at the top. And oh, I gotta get my journal strips. Let's see what they look like right here. We'll start. We'll start at the bottom and go up. Just want to get a feel for how far into the picture they'll go, and that I'm okay with that. Generally, I'm perfectly fine covering up feet. Oh gosh. I've got them all out of order. I started at the bottom and then changed to the top. Okay. Course corrected. Now when you tape them down, you can get them a lot tighter than what they appear when you're laying them out. So I think I'm completely fine with that. I'm just debating if I want to try and do this while y'all watch me. Or is this boring? I don't know. Okay, so that's there. Y'all tell me in the chat if you want. Okay, let me answer Tracy's question. But tell me in the chat if you want to see me take the journal strips down or if I should do that afterwards. Okay, what I do specifically, Tracy, is I will tape it here and here to the mat so that it doesn't move. And then when I get my die aligned, I'll tape it here, 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 and here. And then when you feed it into your machine, I think you want to make sure that you don't like feed it like this. I kind of feed it down and let it grab the top plate, and then the top plate holds the sandwich. So what you can do is just try on a couple of strips like that are just too long, you know, like 2 strips long, so that you're not burning through a ton of time and effort. Oh, this, I was like, why is this warped, but it's not taped down? Okay, it seems like everyone's fine if I dive into the deep end of taping them down. So let me just kind of get a feel for what I want to do over here. I think I'm still in frame. Yep. I put mint tape down on my glass board to show to show me my bounding. It's called a bounding box in the OBS studio. Let's see. Maybe this shifts over here. No, I don't like 2 word things together. It's okay. Let's just keep going. And I can do like maybe Halloween memories like that. I got this little candy corn. It might be too big, but I thought when I saw it in the Kellybell collection, I was like, oh, because Pluto, his little costume is a a candy corn hat. He's not really elaborate, but you know, most dogs don't like costumes, so I guess that's true. You know what? What if we kind of did something like this? Does that look any better? Nope, I don't think it does. We could cover up Donald. So when we went to Disneyland in like '99, it was our son's first trip. And I think actually their only trip to Disneyland. And we had breakfast at the Disneyland Hotel. It was character breakfast. And Philip had a donut on his plate, and Donald came through, and he took that donut and kind of, well, he actually shoved it into Philip's mouth, to be honest. You wouldn't get away, you wouldn't see him doing that today. But, you know, Donald, he was a little unhinged back in the day. And so, seriously, ever since then, Philip has not liked Donald. So I have this in costume. Maybe the deal is I need to spread out the pumpkins. Maybe I'm onto something here. Yep. I think that could work. Thank you, Tracy. My magnetic mat was really like close to dead, and I was to the point where it was shifting every time I used it, and I decided that I needed a new mat, and that helped, but I decided also it wouldn't hurt if I tape down the base. What does this say? A Disney Halloween where spooky memories are made. I don't really want to cover up any of the words, but I don't think that's going to work. I think I need to go tallest in the middle. Oh, it's kind of funny. Oh, and look, there's a piece of candy corn right by Pluto. Oh, let's see. I'm going to think on that, I've got 3 candy corns left, which I might can put over here. But what I'm going to do next is, let's get this stuff taped down. I should do my journaling first because this can all shift if it needs. Thank you, ladies. Let's see. So on my little journal strips, I know I shouldn't stop talking because then you think the stream isn't working. On my little journal strips, sorry, I do like to trim the edges off, and I like the little jagged edge. And what I'm going to do, because I think it might be a little faster, is I'm going to cut them and trim them and tape them one at a time. So, oh, and I'm out of frame. I know that. I'm sorry. I'm way out of my mint tape area. But I read as a child the book Cheaper by the Dozen, and you know that the dad of that family was an efficiency engineer, and he talked about, I want to come to the black. He talked about, like, he would film his 12 kids and he would make sure they were being efficient. Like, he talked about the order that you shower, and he would go like from the arm down to the leg on one side, and it's kind of funny that I don't even know if I was 12 when I read that. So toward that end, if I touch these journal strips one time instead of trimming them all and then putting foam on them all, then maybe it's a little more efficient. But gosh, I've got to keep them in the right order. Okay, so I know you can see this part. So let me put the foam on when I'm up here. But the thing I like, kind of back to the acrylic corners, is that you get some consistency, and especially in this case, like if you're matting 2 photos, I'll tell y'all, in all honesty, I wouldn't have been able to get those, if I did those manually, I wouldn't have known they were going to be, you know, exact, that they were going to match. Which, I know some people are okay with wonky, but I think, like, in this case, if they're your feature photos, then for me, I want them to be, I want them to match. I'll just say it like that. To be the same measurement. Okay. The next line starts with best, which is right here. I reference, so on this document, it's a Google sheet, and then I keep that open so I can reference the order of the strips, which you could also reference the download, but it's just easier for me to go to the web page, which I always have open, because I'm a journal stripped junkie. I did think all of the characters were really cute in their little outfits. I didn't really understand, if I'm honest, I didn't really understand Donald and Daisy, but I think they're like being spidery. I don't know. I can tolerate Daisy, but I really don't like Donald. It's kind of funny because I had an uncle that lived with us as a child. When I was a child, he was not a child, and he did the Donald Duck talk. Like, but I mean, I like that uncle, so it doesn't go back to that. When I was getting ready for this live, I thought, Penny, all of your classic overthinking tactics are coming in handy. So I used ChatGPT to walk me through, you know, the how-tos, and he said, "You're thinking ahead. That's great." And I'm like, "Well, you know, that's how I live." Oh, when I pulled that up, I lost my chat. Barbara, I do think the die, whenever I do a layout share and I come across journal strips that I did manually, I always kind of point them out because they're very, very childlike looking, I guess. And if I'm popping out a frame some on these foam squares, I'm sorry. Not foam squares, foam strips. Okay. And, you know, I've shared on other Disney things, we love Goofy because on that same trip to Disneyland, when we checked into the Disneyland hotel, Goofy was in the lobby, and we flew, so we were getting out under the front, and he ran out and he played Ring Around the Rosie with the boys and actually fell down, and it was so cute and so sweet. And so whenever I see Goofy, I take him back to that little encounter. And you know, I know that person is not the one that was Goofy in California, but I think, you know, I like to give them affirmation. because they're working behind the camera, if you will, and they don't get the validation necessarily, or the feedback. And so whenever I tell them that story, they usually do have a cute reaction. Okay, 12:20. When I was pulling my stuff together for this, I even got out my Omnigrid in case like I was super fast and I got to stitching, but I'm not going to do that. I've started going downhill. It's right here, I think. I think part of the thing is that my paper is not lying straight, so it's kind of messing with my mind. Let's see. This is why I didn't want to do them live, because I think I can stress too much on getting them exactly straight. Which, if I do that here, you know, quietly, it doesn't seem as problematic as being caught on film doing it. That's okay though. I think that the spacing on this is going to end up pretty good. It's not really going to bleed into the photo. See, this one is straight, so I'll leave it alone. I'll fix it after the fact. The foam doesn't really set for a little bit, and these are 1/8 by 2mm foam strips that I get on Scrapbook.com. Sophie is snoring. I don't know if y'all can hear her. Okay. So that's down. And what I'll do is I'll come over like this. So I'm going to put the big guy down next. It's so cute. The Kellybell kit had the Mickey pumpkin, you know, with the ears on it, but it only had one. You don't ever see a different face on that one. And so I thought that the charm in these pumpkins was the variety of the expression. So I opted for the traditional looking jack-o'-lanterns. Now these squares I get off of Amazon, and they're very economical. It's kind of borderline too thick. We are not going to be in town for Halloween, and so we did not get out any of our Halloween decorations. We did hang a fall wreath on the front door, but that's it. when we get back, it's going to be like Christmas time. Because my husband's in retail, and I mean, he's already got Christmas set up in the store, honestly, so we'll have to finish Christmas decorating quickly, and it'll all be up before Thanksgiving. It's the only way we can get it done anymore. We are older and slower. So we don't fret about it. I don't care what anybody thinks about when our Christmas stuff goes up. Okay. I'm gonna try and kiss the journaling. Perfect. And then this one. If I were doing a single page, I think I could have finished in an hour, but I had no idea on the pacing. And I did not want to run out. So it's kind of like measuring twice, cut once. I agree, Barbara. When you start decorating for Christmas early, you get to enjoy it longer. And so when it's actually Christmas time, when the holidays here, you are ready. Aren't those cute? So then I can, oh man, maybe I do this after because I want to pop it up on phone. Excuse my arm. I need to clean up a little. I got bedlam. I got little foam backers everywhere. Okay, I don't need this anymore. And what do y'all think? You think the right page looks good? You think it's ready to tape down? I think I could be ready to tape it down. And the sketch calls for stitching, and I for sure will stitch, and who knows where. Who knows where. I won't try and do any down here. Let's see. Would that fit right in there? I think it would, and it would kind of deal with that little trapped white space. And I think I could put it flat. I'm going to do that. We're going to make a decision quick. I don't want it to touch. Oh, thank you for the feedback on the right page. I'm glad you got some cards done. Okay, so we'll take that down, and we're at 90 minutes. I'm going to tape this down, and then I don't know. I mean, I've got 10 people on here with me. I guess I can just keep going, and if y'all have to leave and I end up here by myself, then I'll know it's time to stop. For my part, I like to finish. You know, when I was thinking about getting this done, I thought, man, I don't want a UFO on this. Like, I'm going to finish this today, whether I do it on camera or not. Is the quality of the picture good, and how's the sound? And I'm asking because if I do this again, I need to know if I need to research any other options, or if this quality of production is good. I'm going to come down into this picture some because that's just dead space anyway. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Let's see. I didn't think about any of this stuff. I don't know. Is it too big? It looks kind of weird coming out of the whip, in my opinion. I'll just leave that there. Oh, good. Thanks for the feedback on the quality. Okay. Oh. Barbara, I can't watch Olive Oil or Chamel. I have to fast forward. And, but I'll tell you what. I am going to go ahead with the title. It'll be a little tedious. But you know what? Instead of doing strips, I'm going to use the squares. The squares might come apart a little faster. I'm just going to try and do it in camera so you're not looking at, you know, dead space. Jackie, I think we're all slow. Am I saying your name right? I think it would be Jackie. Let's see. I want to get big ones down wherever I can. And then fill in the gap with little ones. I had a message via Instagram this morning, and she said, "You use a lot of foam." And I thought, well, yeah, I do, I guess. So I'll tell you what, on this foam that I get off Amazon, you get several of the big sheets, and then you get several of the little sheets, and it's $7 for all of it. And it takes me a long time to use up a pack of it. And it's good quality. It's not subpar. And I mean, it works. And it makes me happy. I think it probably smushes down a little bit once it's inside the scrapbook, but that's all right. And I don't like them to cave any, so I probably do, you know, as per my usual MO, a little bit of overkill on everything. Let's see. So then when I get to the smaller parts, I just take my scissors and I'll just run up a row, cutting them in half. And then I've got smaller ones I can pull from. Do y'all use foam tape in your creations? I think that card making, when I started card making in an acrylic corner just fell. It's okay. When I started card making in 2020, and I took a Jen Shirkus class, she had us putting things up on foam. And then it just kind of opened the door for anything you created to get that dimension. And I think that's sometimes what a digital scrapper has to their advantage, is they get that dimension from the shadow effect in Photoshop. But you can get it also by using the foam. All right, I think that's it. And now we get to peel off the backer pieces. Barbara, I watch her at faster speed too. And I don't ever watch Vicky. You know, honestly, since I started making content, I've shared before, I don't get to watch as much content because the time that I would watch is now when I'm filming. And so the time that I get to watch is when I'm stitching or if I'm editing, but not if I'm sitting here making. Almost halfway there. So the boo to you is a big phrase at the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. When they do the parade down Main Street, it's actually the name of the song. And I won't sing it because then it'll be stuck in my head all day. It's kind of fighting to get in there right now. But it's a cute song. And so that's why it's in this Kellybell kit that's geared toward the park. She doesn't have, to my knowledge, if you search Halloween on her site, the only kit that I saw was this one. And so she'll maybe someday get Halloween on the High Seas. She has cruise kits, but there aren't a ton of Halloween sailings every year. So I know she has a long list of things she wants to create because they just keep coming out with new things, new attractions and features. The kit she just dropped on yesterday of this week, was the Barnstormer. And I'll tell you, we had never ridden that until we took the boys over for New Year's. And it was hysterical because both of my boys are over 6 feet tall, and you can ride that. You can be any age to ride that, but like their knees were up to their chin, and they at first wanted us to get in there, like 2 of us in one car, and we're like, there's no way. I mean, look at us. And so it was late, and they recanted. We rode it multiple times. So now, like, the big joke is, do you want to go ride Barnstormer? And they're like, little house cleaning up these backer strips because they were sticking to my arms. Okay, so I think this page is basically done, except for stitching. It's super cute. I don't know. Well, that's cute. Maybe it's not done. Huh. I think that needs to be taped down. Someone had asked about clusters and wanted me to teach a class on clusters or do a video on clusters. And honestly, I don't really feel like I have a lot of advice on it. I just know that kind of when you think you're done, maybe you're not. There are some enamel dots in this kit, and for sure I want to get some of those down. Oh, that's cute, y'all. And Paige Evans gets the credit. She made cute stuff. And Kellybell. Oh, I like it. Okay, so I can set that to the side. And now let's go into the belly of the beast and try and get this giant photo mat centered up. Okay. I still have this. I don't know. Okay, what's everybody saying? Let me check the chat. Oh, thank you, Barbara, for the compliment. And Penny, I'll tell you that I was named after a penny. So my parents were friends with someone who had a sister named Penny, and that's where I got my name. And it's not Penelope. And so growing up, you know, there was that show Penelope Pit Stop, and everyone thought it was Penelope because of that. Thank you, Jackie, for saying it's like scrapping with a friend. When I did my Q&A video, I shared that one of the reasons why I started making content was because I am home with my mom, and I feel like as much as I can that I should be home, you know, with her. And so toward that end, about a year before my mom moved in with us, my local friend of like 30 years moved away. And so I wasn't lonely, but I found myself, you know, with time on my hands. I need to try and figure out what the center of this would be. So let me see. Well, the easiest way to do that is to bump it to the edge and measure what's left. Okay, 2 1/4, so it'd be 1 1/8. That's easy enough. And I think that's 1 1/8. Do y'all work on a magnetic surface? My friend Jess that's watching this with us, she got this glass board first, and I got it primarily for cards. And man, it has really, I think, made me a faster and better scrapper. Okay, and so it's also going to be 1 1/4 down here, so I can use this. That's 1 1/4. And so this is kind of how you could use the acrylic corners if you didn't have a MISTI. You know, there's lots of ways to stabilize things. You just kind of have to get into the mindset of it. Oh, and then it moved. That's okay. Okay, so then if I do that, it looks like it'd be centered enough. Okay. Do y'all's pictures get sticky when you're working? It's almost always I get something on one of them, and I don't know how or why. I'll just run some adhesive through the middle because this is not a solid back, just for some stability. Okay. That's it. That we did it. I was kind of nervous about that, to be honest. Oh no, what's all this? Oh, you know what it is? I bet it's graphite off of the Omnigrid from when I put my pencil lines on for stitching. Okay, let's get all of our little pretties down. And now I have to try and remember the order of this. Ugh, I should have taken better note. Am I in frame? Yes, because I'm inside. Okay. So I know that this was kind of at the corner, right? And then I had the second largest one here. And then the candy corn coming off of that. So let's put this guy down first. Oh, one thing I wanted to know is if I were to do another live, is Saturday the best day, or is there another time? And how often would y'all be interested in them? Because I'll tell you, it takes the same amount of time to do a live as it does to do a video and edit it. And so by doing the live, you know, I'm creating a video that I won't have to edit. So it's kind of, in some ways, a little bit of a time saver. But I don't want to inundate everyone with too many. Thank you, Robin. Robin, I was sharing your scoreboard tip earlier. Okay. So, kind of the rule of thumb on placement for me is just trying not to cover up too many details in the photo. And I'm realizing that I'm not using any of the Paige Evans embellishments, but I might in a minute get her sticker sheet out and see if there's any phrase stickers. But I went for kind of the Kellybell look, because see, like an enamel dot would help that little hole right there, because I felt like it was more applicable to my topic, and because these pumpkins were just so darn cute. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just a natural tendency to take the backers off near me. Okay, I'm going to come down a little bit so we get that pretty aqua showing. And I think it's going downhill. Yep, there we go. And let's see. I do like this aqua pattern a lot, but I don't know what that little dot is. It's a good B-side, which in the Busy collection, it's nice to have that option for a little more subtle pattern. Let's see. A night or weekend. Replay is a valid option. I'm just kind of thinking ahead to, you know, the holidays are coming, people's schedules are going to get busier. So I know that there's not a perfect time for everyone, but I mean, for real, in December, it would be a nice tool for me to get a little video done when, you know, you're trying to juggle all of the busy holiday activities. Our kids come home for Christmas this year, but that won't impact me until probably the week of Christmas. And I kind of expect watch hours to go down, you know, to diminish a little bit for the holidays. I think that would be very normal. Let's see. What direction should that guy go? Maybe like that. I want going to trim it a little bit so it tucks under the pumpkin a little more. The nice thing about working with the foam is that it's malleable, you know, you can move it around. Okay, so that one's done. And now, maybe I'll work upside down on this. Otherwise, my arms are going to be all in the frame. Sometimes I look down at my layouts and there's dog hair on them. I'm like, what? How did that happen? But I think it, you know, transfers from your shirt. My girls like to be held. Sweet little babies. That's a fair point, Jess, on the time savings. The main reason why I wanted to get this in October is because it was an easy way for me to get a video in without as much time. And I wanted to do it anyway, and so if I was more crunched for time in October than I will be in November. I mean, at least I think so. That's why I slotted it for today. And you know what? It's fall break in our school district, and Monday's Columbus Day. So I don't know if you work and if you have off on Monday. We never got Columbus Day off, but of course the school kids get a lot of days we don't. Okay. Again, I want the aqua paper to show. I think that's how it was. And then did I have one or two? Someone tell me, did I have one or two over here? I don't know. I don't know why that's not sticking down. When things like that pop up, I'll just run some liquid adhesive under them afterwards. I'm going to turn it around. You just got to get it at the right angle or it kind of looks like you're trying to make a horn or something. I don't like that angle, but maybe that's better. Okay, we're close to done. Okay, let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. And then we can take a final look at the 2 pages together. So what I printed that I didn't use was this. And I could tuck it right there. I don't know that it makes a lot of sense. It would just be putting it down. Hey Sheila, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you could hop in. The vote was for me just to keep going, and so, you know, I'm not ever one to shirk a challenge. Okay, so here's what we have, and I don't think I'm going to go into any of the Paige Evans ephemera, and let's just kind of, I'll show you why. So it's a different kind of pumpkin. It's flowers, which are not anywhere on this. And then it's all the witchy stuff. And so on my layout that's going to show on October 25th, I lean more into the witchy stuff because it's a picture, well, I'm not going to tell you. But if I could find those cardstock stickers, let's see. Here's this. Boo to You, Trick or Treat Yourself, Fright Night, Spooky Vibes Only, Candy Hall, Happy Halloween, Scary Squad, Batty for You, Ghostly Greetings, Beautiful. See, I don't think any of this really works for this topic. Okay, so I think that this page is as per the sketch, except the sketch had a journal block up here, and it showed 3 pumpkins here. And I wanted the extra picture, and so I modified it to strips down here. And I feel like the strips work well with the big title cluster, and I think your eye's going to move around the page, and I'll do some stitching. I might do an outer, I'm probably going to do an outer black here and here. And then I'm probably going to do the orange. I might do orange, pink, pink, orange. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of stitching. I'm not going to stitch on this because it would interrupt the pattern. Like, I was intentional about getting an X to show, and I'm not going to do that. And when I get down here, I won't put a stitch there because it won't really show. So I think that'll be the plan for the stitching, and I think that texture would be the last thing that would really seal the deal. And as my friend says, make it a penny layout. Okay, but I will show you real quick how I would, do this. And I just get my Omnigrid and I line it up, and then I just draw my pencil line. And then, you have to rotate your page around. So then I would come and I would draw the pencil line here. And I'm always working at this first hash mark right here. Let me highlight which one I'm working at. I'm always working at this one right here. Always. And you just line it up, at the same spot, and then I could come do this one, and then you have to rotate your page around to then get an even margin on right here and right here, and then over here. And that'll be a fun project for this evening. I mean, as soon as I stop the live stream, I'll actually start, and I'm going to do tone on tone. Tone on tone is my absolute favorite, and the reason why I like tone on tone is that it adds texture without kind of screaming. And this is the other end of that. This is a Pink Fresh dual tip embellishment tool. And one end is wax and the other is this pretty little pointer. It's a stylus end. It's not a piercer. And it's really not a pickup tool either. So, okay. I don't know where the dots are. Oh, they're right here. Okay. Let's see. So on this one, on this layout, I would use the purple, the black, and the orange. And I would pick 3 sizes, and I would put the dots in 3 spots. So let's see. Sorry, that's the Omnigrid ruler going away. Kind of a different purple, but I'm okay with it. So when I'm doing the dots, I kind of think about what colors are there. And since this is already orange heavy, I'm going to do just a little bit of orange. Oh, that's cute, I think. Okay, then let me come up here. So I could either do 2 sets of dots here or bring dots up here. I think I need to move the dots around the page. And so I'm going to come up here with the big black one. And we're going to come right in here. And then I'm going to use a different size orange and then the tiny purple. Whoa. And then if I do another trio of them, I would probably come in down here. So, and that works out great because I want to use the big orange one, and it's going to be on this black paper. And then I've got, what's the smallest size? The black is the smallest size that I use. And it's going to be hard. I'm going to bring it right over here to where it pops off the paper. And then the medium size is going to be the purple. And I'll go up a little bit. And then I'll just adjust this one a little. So that's kind of my strategy on dots. I think you can do a lot. I don't know that you necessarily need to. So, okay. We did it! We did it! I'm so happy. So, yes, Jess, I will share the final layout. And I don't know how I'll do that. I don't know. I might do it in a short. I don't know. YouTube, those shorts do really well, and so I might do it. But you have to film in portrait mode, so a double layout may not be the best idea for a short, but I will share it because it's fun. It's fun to share. So here's my finished or nearly finished layout, and it's been such a fun time. I can't thank you enough for joining me. I didn't know how this would go, but I survived, and I like it. That's always a nice result, is when you get to the end and you like what you did. So anyway, so the giveaway will be open during the live, but if you're watching this on replay, it will have closed. So I'm going to go back and review the chat, and I'll be drawing a winner. The giveaway is a $10 gift card to your favorite online scrapping or crafting store, and I'll post the winner in the community post. So if you go to my home channel, you'll see several little tabs across the top. You'll see home, video, shorts, live, playlist, and post. And that last tab, post, is where I'll make a post with the winner of the giveaway. So I can't thank you enough for being part of my journey the first 5 months. Yeah, the first 5 months of being a content creator. I love it. I love learning the things. I love rising to the challenge. I love sharing stories and playing with paper, and it's a real feel-good experience for me, and I can't thank you enough for giving me an avenue to create and share. So this live went well. I would like to do it again. You can watch for those posts. I will say that I've lost my chat on my computer. Hold on. Oh, it's completely gone. Oh, there it is. What was I saying? I will do another live. And so if you do not follow me on Instagram or Facebook, the links for that are in the video description. And that's where I share that I'm going to do a live, as well as I can create an event in YouTube, and you can go out and watch for that and hit the notification and the reminder to put it on your schedule. And so that's kind of the logistics of if we do this again and how to watch for the winner. And I guess that I'm sad to get off. We're having so much fun, but I'm gonna wrap this up and let you go. I love that you were here. I hope that you had some fun creating along with me. I'll see you in my next video. And so bye-bye for now from Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story. I hope that you've had fun on your desk while I did. And as always, y'all, thanks for hanging out with me.